Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. Is the world uniting? Or at least Korea and for sure NA? We got some Koreans speaking out on YouTube specifically to the Marvel Future Revolution stuff. So we'll check that out. Maybe we got some momentum going. You know, any other YouTubers out there, any influencers, etc., please try to, you know, if you're interested in keeping Marvel Future Revolution going or want some movement from Netmarble, please feel free to tweet at them, mention, share videos, anybody's videos who are doing this. We'll see if we can get a little momentum going to see what we can get improved. So we'll go over a little bit of that, this current status of things. I also want to talk about a video real quickly that I did the other day that I'm hoping is going to maybe help with some some advertising for the game. I don't know. I'm trying to think of literally anything I can do to help publicize the game more. So anyway, let's get to it. You want to hammer down like buttons, all the things. I appreciate you.
WolverThor.
All right, so I put out a video. It's essentially sort of a trailer video about the Wolverine story. I saw some in different games where some of the videos like this get hundreds of thousands or sometimes millions of views, and people kept asking it, what game is that? What game is that? And so last night, I had already done all this footage. I was just planning on putting it later, but it's basically the cinematic and a couple spots where I dropped in gameplay. So my hope is that maybe if I did a video like this, that it gets spread out more. So if you're not following me on Twitter, it's WolverThor. I tried to tweet it like Marvel Entertainment, a couple other celebs that have been rumored to play Wolverine. I'm just trying to get this out as much as I can. So anyway, that's you might see some videos like that. If you see them, you know, feel free to comment, etc., to help push the algorithm. Anything that you can do is always appreciated. So anyway, got that one out there. Maybe it does nothing anyway. All right, so if you haven't watched any of my videos recently, a lot of it's been about what's been happening with Netmarble. A lot of people are frustrated because there's an article we found in Korea that said specifically they cut 70% of their dev team on July 14th of 2022, which is, you know, almost 2 months ago now. A lot of people outside Korea weren't even aware of that. Talking to some Koreans now, they didn't know that we weren't aware of that. So it's a very interesting thing. And over time, we found an actual auto article. I'm not going to go over this whole thing, but it's another one out there. It paints a little bit less of a exciting picture. Part of this talks about how they actually asked some of their staff to resign. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's basically the same thing that we've already gone through other videos. I'll put the link in the description below if you want to read it. As you can see, you can just right click it on Google Chrome and translate to it. But anyway, here's another article out there covering that. And this again, this was around that same time. So that's out there. But the part I want to talk about a little bit is there is a Korean influencer YouTuber, Jap Hack Da Sick. Now I apologize if I'm messing that up. But they covered the Marvel Future Revolution stuff, and as you go through here, you can close caption this if you'd like, and then come through the settings and go subtitles. It's Korean auto generated, or you do auto translate, and then you find whatever language that you're in. In my case, it's English, except for I can't spell. There we go. And so you can get an idea of what he's talking about a little bit. Now, he obviously eventually transfers over to Future Revolution. He goes through the same article that, you know, I've got some stuff that I've been talking about. So he goes through that article. He talks a lot about the game. He talks about, you know, how it was out for a while. And then he goes through and actually goes through the forums here, which, you know, frankly, I really love. And he starts talking about how, you know, he's seeing the post that I've been making on the Korean forums. He brings them up specifically and is saying, and I think at some point here he actually mentions that, you know, we didn't know, at least NA didn't know about this. He goes through it a little bit, clicks it through it a little bit. He's on the same page where there's a bunch of frustrations, talks about the game, that the fact that I had subtitles or some notes in there that were in Korean of trying to say, hey, this is an issue. Can somebody please pay attention to this? Hey, can we unite on this? So I appreciate him posting this. You know, again, he mentioned some stuff about it'd be, you know, nice if there was a bigger YouTube presence on this. There's not. I'd love to have a bigger one out there. you know, the algorithm's the algorithm. I do what I can. The other content creators do what they can. to try to make that bigger. He goes through the Netmarble financials, obviously. And so anyway, he gets back to all of this, and I just really appreciated, you know, the fact that he covered that. So I think that we're making some grounds just to try to make a bigger thing. I sent after this, I was sort of inspired to email some other Korean YouTubers. We'll see if I hear anything back from them. They're a little bit, it was a shot in the dark. I sent an email, but anyway, so I was happy for that. So again, Japhack Desik, I appreciate you doing that. Thank you. And speaking of the forums, obviously, so, you know, this is kind of where the forums are. I'm going to the Korean forums to try to post a little bit on here just to see what I can do. It's not a ton, it's got some views, not a ton of responses, but clearly it draws some eyes to it. So for me, that's, you know, something that I really sort of appreciate and like. I think that, you know, it's important to try to communicate globally on stuff like this. I'm going to keep posting on there. My understanding is that, you know, with a Korean gaming company, they'll focus more on something like this than folks outside of Korea. So, you know, if this is the way to do it, you know, I know I'm still talking about the trucks, all that sort of thing, which, you know, speaking of that, you know, where are we at? Any movement on things? So there are people looking into getting the trucks. They're actually finding companies they're comfortable with. I told them, again, I'd be happy to help promote. I'd be happy to help do fundraising, all that sort of thing. There's other content creators are interested, so we're working out all those logistics. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. If you're not, no big deal. We're also doing sort of what we're attempting, like a global letter of some sort, or a post that, you know, we'll see what that does. We're trying a parallel paths there. So that's what we've got there. And now the other part of this is that I want to talk about, it seems like Netmarble is truly trying to figure themselves out. Now, this is at the beginning of the year, you know, again, doing a lot of the research out there. Some of the things, and I want to give a shout out to, I think, I want to make sure I don't, because I've gotten a lot of links lately. I got this from, was it Ismail or is it Admiral? This one was from Admiral Jansen. So shout out to Admiral on this one. Thank you for sharing the link. But the long and short of it is that they're talking about NFT type stuff and blockchain type games, which is obviously very different. For me personally, I've not touched these yet. I believe Ni no Kuni is maybe like this. Some people said they enjoyed Ni no Kuni. I have zero interest in helping any game company or getting NFTs with game companies. It's, you know, that market can be very up and down. It's, when I game, I want to game. When I invest in stock markets, I'll go do that, which I like to do, and you should invest wisely. But I don't like combining that. I don't know. There's already enough drama in gaming and stock investment or NFT investment or blockchain investment separately. To combine them, oof. I don't know. So anyway, you can check out this article. Again, I'll link this in the description below as well. But this shows me that they're sort of like going to multiple different paths in their gaming company, which I was kind of like, all right. And then again, this other one about is this the one, did Admiral yeah, Admiral posted this next one too, where a lot of people are starting to talk about, you know, is Netmarble actually selling Marvel Future Revolution? I don't necessarily believe that to be the case at this point. The reason people are speculating that a little bit is because they're so quiet. Maybe they can't talk. And I'll get to something that Cookies brings up in a second, which a very smart guy who deals with a lot of M&A or mergers and acquisitions, which is basically companies buying other companies or certain properties from those companies. So this article I found interesting. Now, it's almost a year old, but it showed that at some point Netmarble was willing to sell off an asset. This one was particular Iron Throne, the Firstborn. Now, I assume this is a in-house IP. This is not something they're paying, you know, a Marvel situation. So it's probably a little bit easier for them to sell, but they did sell a game specifically. So I was like, maybe that is possible. But the concept of selling the game because they're quiet, I don't know if I buy that necessarily. I think that they could still discuss things. They might not be able to guarantee certain events that are happening because they don't know when the sale is going to drop or anything. But I think they, you know, if somebody's trying to buy, and this is the part that I think Cookies sort of comes up with here. So I'm going to zoom in on this a bit. So Cookies is a very smart guy. I love talking to him. He's an alliance mate, someone I've been around since the MSF days when I covered that game. And he says he's dealt plenty of M&A deals in his real-world job. The business being acquired can still interact with the customer base. And he's absolutely right. And he's like, they just can't disclose a pending deal. Us being ignored and the product, or the game in this case, not being updated like normal, like September bundles or anniversary events, would not be impacted by a deal. And this is the point that I think that really irons this or hammers this home. If anything, the acquirer or the person buying the game from, in this case, Netmarble, would want the business being acquired to maintain status quo. So the buyer, from whoever would be purchases from Netmarble, would say, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Keep everybody engaged. Keep the player base there. Don't lose anybody. This is really important because you'd want to have that product you're buying is in good state as possible. And he goes on to say, in this hypothetical where Netmarble is selling MFR, the acquiring company would specifically not want Netmarble to piss off or lose a portion of its remaining player base. In fact, the company, depending on the stipulations in their letter of intent, could kill a deal at the end of the process if there's a dramatic decline in customers or revenue. So it's needless to say that anyone saying their silence is indication of a pending sale doesn't know how the real world works. So I think this is a good point by Cookies. I think it's very wise. I think it's anybody who'd be buying this IP or this product from Netmarble would not want any of this to happen. So they'd want the things to happen. They'd want the in-game anniversaries, all that sort of thing. So I wanted to bring that up. So I had a little bit of quick different video here. Again, I wanted to share some of the videos that I had seen out there. The one that maybe caught some of you guys off guard with the trailer footage stuff. I'm trying to find any way I can to sort of get the game out there. And that's it. So if you've got any ideas, certainly comment below. If you're interested in hearing about any of the things further that I mentioned in this video, comment below. There's the Discord in the description below. You can come on and talk to us a little bit more in detail. The links are in the description below as well. Hammer down like buttons, notification bell, subscribe. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.